God, Big Brother 18 is done. I'm not sure if I'm going to go I don't think I'm going to sign up to watch Big Brother 19. There's a lot of the stuff that I could be paying attention to. So, maybe I'll give you some updates once in a while what's going on with Big Brother 19 if I really care. But anyway, we are here to talk about the season finale of Big Brother 18. Now, as you know, there's 3 HOH competitions that have to be played. Part 1, we already saw part of Part 1 occur, and this is essentially, to be honest with you, it was lackluster. It felt like another Big Brother episode. I feel like because they had to dedicate some of their resources to Big Brother 19, that they didn't pull out all the stops to make it really feel like it's a finale episode. Julie looked great, but she also kind of looked a little regular. So anyway, they're all still in their cat costumes, and you know what happens. When they're on the wall, that's when they get done for. So Nicole falls off first. Originally, she was able to rebound, but she falls off, and then James falls off right after her. Nicole's pissed because James is doing what he's been doing this whole time. Pretty much been throwing competitions, not really trying to overexert himself so that he can play the next one. Nicole's pissed because she's like, dude, this is the finale, and someone like you doesn't deserve to win at this point. And even Paul's like, what's wrong with James? Why would you just go and give up, assuming that you possibly... James gets on my nerves. James gets on my everlasting nerves this season. So, now we have the second HOH competition. It's Nicole versus James. And how it works is you have to run through this amusement park line, and you have to, while you're doing that, you have to think of, alright, who were the only people who weren't have-nots this summer? Or who were the first 5 people who weren't have-nots, never have-not? So for example, Glenn, Bronte, and Frank. While they were in the house, they were never have-not. And so Nicole, originally, she kind of fumbles, but she fumbles once, and she gets it together. She gets the answers right, it's just that the amount of time per se, I mean the timing, because there's this cart with, you have to, and so the whole premise is to make sure that you have the 3 correct people, depending on what the question is, and you put them in the cart, and the cart goes down kind of like a roller coaster, but you have to take a picture of it and make sure that the people's face and also the 2 yellow bars are in the picture. If not, you have to start all over again. So what ends up happening is Nicole wins! Nicole wins, and she beats James by, what was it, like 12 minutes? It was no competition. It was no competition. Basically like how this whole thing was going in the first place. Corey goes and he joins the official jury cast, and it was funny because they're asking questions, right? Dr. Will was asking questions to the jury about Corey, and I'm sure Corey heard everything, but they weren't mean. They weren't mean. So Corey just let it be known that, you know, he thought he could, him and Nicole could team up and do what they needed to do, but at the end of the day, Paul pulled through. Paul put both of them on the block, and then one of them ended up leaving the house because Paul kept the power. So, of course they're happy, they're really excited, and now they have to go and do the pros and cons of the 3 people left in the house. Michelle does not like Nicole. She feels like Nicole's a snake. Devon, surprisingly, went to bat for Nicole a lot. It's just like, you know, at the end of the day, Devon was like, girl power. Natalie was in agreement. Of course, Bridget was in agreement. Girl power. Paul, he's great, but Nicole, she used you guys a lot in a brilliant way. She made sure she didn't get too much blood in her hands. She did an excellent job working with the people who she worked with. She started to win when she needed to win. I mean, she played phenomenally. Phenomenally. And then they were talking about Paul. And, of course, with Paul, especially Victor was going to bat for Paul. But a lot more so the women were like, they personally don't like Paul. Because they're like, personally, he's rude. He says some really hurtful and disrespectful stuff. As a game player, he's excellent. He wins what he needs to win. He was on the block so many times, and he won the 2 times he needed to get off of the block. He did an excellent job his social game, you can be mad at him 1 second and love him in the next. I mean, he is a phenomenal, well-rounded player. And Nicole is to a certain extent, except for Nicole is worse under pressure than Paul. But it was just interesting because you can clearly tell that these people are going to be happy when they don't need to be happy, and knowing the fact that they don't have to see each other ever again if they don't want to. Now it's the live final HOH competition, and this is a jury one where you have to decide based on a question if you think the juror chose said A or B. So for example, for Sakia, the ultimate betrayal was the ultimate betrayal when, or no, the most surprising thing that happened in the house was A, when Victor came back in, or B, when Paulie didn't use the veto on me. She said A. So they looked at her like, what is wrong with this chick? I know it's a mess. It was a mess. But Paul ends up winning. He wins by 1 because there's a set amount of questions. Of course, there was going to be a tiebreaker if it was a tie. But they kept getting a couple wrong. And Paul, like I said, he got 1 more right than Nicole. So obviously he won. Paul said, James, I like you overall as a person. But dude, I don't care what agreement you thought we had. You did not come to play Big Brother. You basically flowed your way most of the time. You threw competitions. You followed Natalie around for a good 6 weeks. And you just don't deserve to win. So I'm sorry, dude. I have to take the better competitor, regardless of if it's going to bite me in the butt or not. So he takes Nicole. And Julie was just like, where do you think you went wrong? And James doesn't really think he was the floater. I'm thinking James is thinking, okay, it must have gotten back to him that I tried to play both sides. And it did. It did. Because what ended up happening is, it's good to see Sakia again. Yeah, but the thing is, Paul found out that James was trying to work with Nicole as well. But James didn't at one point at least just say, you know, I'm trying to work both angles. Nicole said, yeah, she's working both angles. So Paul's just like, you know, you stabbed me in the back a couple of times. It is what it is. James joins the rest of the jury. They're just like, oh, but they're secretly kind of happy that it's her, that it's him, because the whole thing is James really didn't deserve to win. So they ask a couple of questions regarding everyone's gameplay. Well, Nicole and Paul's gameplay, and so what were their strengths and what were their weaknesses? Well, not really strengths and weaknesses, but why do you deserve to win? Why do you deserve to win? Because they asked a couple other questions as well, but I really didn't care too much about them. Here's Paul's. Paul's like, look, I was on the block 6 weeks. I did a lot to maneuver myself and also work with my only trusted buddy, Victor, to be the brains. He was the brawn. Each week we survived. Even when he came back in, I worked with him. I stayed loyal. I stayed true. I saved myself. I showed people how I was at the very beginning. People knew that I was a big mouth. They could see me a mile away, and yet I'm still here today. I didn't have to rely on other people. I didn't hide behind other people. I'm saying, well, you didn't hide behind Victor, but you definitely allowed Victor to be a target at some points, which is great strategy-wise, but let's not pretend like you were just so. Anyway, so for Nicole, Nicole's like, since the beginning, I was a vet, so there was already a target on my back, and people were actually trying to gun to get me out from the first week. So I devised a plan. Each week, I played some part of a plan to make sure people would get out of the house. I was only on the block once, and that was for a reason. It wasn't because I was hiding behind people. I wasn't just using these guys. I definitely, well, yeah, I actually was using them because at the end of the day, as a strategist, I knew I had that in the bag. So I let them think whatever they wanted. I let them be bigger targets than myself. And then game time, once it was time for me to, I knew I was in danger, I started to win stuff. And then I started to win more stuff. And so now I'm here. And I really don't have anything else to say. Paul's speech is definitely more thought out, but Nicole, again, she's bad under pressure. And everyone was nice when they were saying, you know, good luck, guys. The both of you played a great game. And that's all you have to say. Because even Michelle said that, and they were shocked. They were astonished. Because you have to be real about it. They still won at the end of the day. They still did a great job. they both deserve it. I don't care what anyone says. They both deserve it. I know a lot of people wanted one to win over the other. So here is how it actually ended.
To be the winner, Big Brother. Corey has cast his vote. No surprise here. For Nicole.
Duh. And Victor cast his vote for Paul. And
Victor has cast his vote for Paul.
Obviously.
2 votes for Paul, 1 for Nicole. Natalie.
Nicole. Which is interesting because, like I said, pretty much girl power. That's how it just works in this house. Michelle voted for Paul because Michelle does not like Nicole. We already knew this, though. Paulie voted for Nicole, which had me thinking, now wait a minute, what did Paul do to piss off? I think Paul was shocked that Paulie actually voted, and Nicole was shocked too. I'm really thinking that Paulie felt that Nicole played a stronger game and Nicole didn't betray him like Paul did. I think that's what he's thinking because that was really the deciding vote. I think everyone thought that Paul was going to get Paulie's vote, but Bridget gave her vote to Paul. So it's just like, what is going on here? And then, of course, Zakia voted for Nicole, so it ended up in being a tie. And I mean, people were just like, what is going on? Next thing you know, Davon's like, you know what? I want a girl to win. Boom! Nicole wins. Nicole's like, what? Now, mind you, this is the first time in history that a girl has won Big Brother, or that a woman has won Big Brother against a man. That actually speaks volumes. And so Nicole's just astonished. She's like, I don't know how I won. That's what everyone says. Victor got America's favorite player. So I'm really happy that Victor won it because James definitely didn't deserve it. And that's pretty much it. Big Brother is over. I'm not going to go and sign up to all access for Big Brother 15. What you guys can do if you'd like to is, I don't know. Maybe I'll do like quickly updates depending on what information I can get from social media. But that's it for that. I have other stuff. How to Get Away with Murder, Scandal, Empire is Bad, American Horror Story, Queen Sugar, If Loving You Is Wrong. There's just so much other things to focus on. Please like, comment, subscribe.